Okay, so WTF is circular economy. Bree.
Well, I am so glad that you asked me this question. That's why we're all here. So, circular economy is an economic model based on a circular life cycle. And what is the best example of a circular life cycle?
Let me guess. Mother Nature.
Nature. Okay, so this is the perfect life cycle. It's been around for billions and billions of years. Let's take a look at how it works. So first we have a plant. It's growing. We have a worm, comes and eats the plant. We have a little hedgehog, comes and eats the worm. Eventually, the hedgehog doesn't need all the worms, so it gets rid of it. And that becomes soil. And the soil, then eventually the hedgehog, his time is over, and the hedgehog becomes part of the soil, adding its nutrients back, and the cycle continues. So this is perfect life cycle.
In terms of economy, what does it actually look like? Circular economy is all about the relationship between the markets, consumers, resources, and the perfect balance between the three. Looks great, right? But how do we humans actually organize the life cycle of goods right now? Well, we have a genius approach, right? So we take resources out of land and sea, we make stuff out of those resources, we sell it to customers, we use it for a very short period of time, and then we throw it away. Back to land and sea. Amazing, isn't it? Not very circular though.
Super, super excellent.
Super linear.
It's super linear. So, in this the idea of producing goods to be more circular, to be more in tune with the circular lifestyle, is not a new idea. We've been talking about it for years. I grew up with a lot of hippies. They talked about it all the time. So, it's not a new idea. We are getting better at it. And we're starting to get better and better. And so what is the step now? What is going to enable us to go further? Is technology. So, can we do better?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
But Bree, but how and why?
Oh, well, let's talk about the why part. We'll talk about the how in a minute. But the why part, why would we do it? In 2010, there were 2 billion people in the middle class on Earth. And with all the resources that are on the Earth, it's expected that by 2030 there will be 5 billion middle class people on the face of the Earth, and they want to have the same lifestyles that we have right now. Fair enough. So this matters because it's expected that, this is only one report, that in 2015, every year we were using 85 billion tons of natural resource material, just ripping it out of the earth and using it. But by 2050, we'll be using 185 billion tons of natural resources, using it, ripping it out of the earth. Okay, so that's maybe not so great.
Not so great.
So what happens if we don't change? The middle class, the new middle class, they're going to consume no matter what. But what will they consume? Right? What happens if we don't change to a circular economy and recover those resources that we've already put into those products?
Oh, I'm going to tell you
what's going to happen.
I'm going to tell you what happens. We all are going to be in deep
Yeah. So. So. How can the goods of today become the resources of tomorrow?
Right. New technology is the answer. New technology is going to enable circular economy. Artificial intelligence and a little bit of natural intelligence, robotics, blockchain, Internet of Things, and most importantly, the mind shift of generations. A new way of thinking. Stop needing new things. Right?
Yeah. So, and then there's also 5 new business models that we think will enable the implementation of a circular economy. Those are circular supplies, resource recovery, sharing platforms, product life extensions, and product as service.
Oh my God, this is a lot of information. What on earth are we actually talking about?
Don't worry, we're going to let you know. So, first up we have circular supplies. And an example of this is we have a lot of office furniture manufacturers who are starting to designed from the very beginning to extend the product's life. So, and making all of the parts repeatedly replaceable on that particular chair or device. So, but eventually that chair it's done its job, you know, and it needs to be broken down and it needs to be thrown away. You return it to the manufacturer, and because that chair has been designed from its very beginning to be replaceable, all those parts are easy to break down and to recycle. And it goes back to the manufacturer recycles all those products, and it becomes a shiny new chair. Yay! So this is using our natural intelligence,
Rain.
using the natural intelligence and design, of course. And then this is cradle-to-cradle thinking. And I don't want to go into more information about this, but Google it. Okay. One example of this is the Steelcase Think Chair. Yay, Steelcase. It's from my hometown, sorry. I give props for that. And then we also have another example is mycelium packaging. So this is the roots of mushrooms, and it's mushrooms that are grown on different fibrous materials. This will can completely replace the uses of foam type products, so any sort of petrol-based foam products.
All right, resource recovery. Now,
Business model.
question for you guys. Who has a dead smartphone lying in the home that you aren't using anymore? I want to see a show of hands. Here we go. So I got two.
What do you do with it?
What do you
do with it?
You know, actually, fair point, because it has been really, really difficult to dispose of a smartphone in a smart way. But now, thanks to advanced robotics, we are able to recover all the individual components and materials out of a smartphone and actually save some money for the producer. So it's all about robotics, empowered by robotics. Now, guys, I want you to meet Liam.
The iPhone is the result of years of innovation. But true innovation means considering what happens to a product at every stage of its life cycle. Meet Liam. When it's time, Liam deconstructs your iPhone. Parts are detected and removed and separated. So the materials inside those parts can be repurposed to rescue cobalt and lithium from the battery, separate the gold and copper in the camera, extract silver and platinum from the main logic board, so the materials in your iPhone can live on. Because in a world with limited resources, some things can't be replaced.
All right, lovely Liam. That's great.
So, and by the way, if you have Siri, ask Siri about Liam, just for your own entertainment. Okay, so the next up, we have sharing platform. And sharing platform. So an example, I have an excessive amount of power tools. I have more power tools than any woman should ever really need. It is the truth. So I love to build things, I love to make things and repair things, but I don't use my tools all the time, and I feel a little bit like they get sad because they're just sitting in the closet, and it's sad. So I would like to share them. And so I like to share them on a sharing platform. Now, this is a great idea, but what happens if somebody uses my tool and they hurt themselves? Right? Whose responsibility is it? Who's accountable? So the idea is a smart contract that, of course, lives on the blockchain. A smart contract will help take the risk out of this transaction. However, if a person breaks my tools, there is not a contract on earth that will protect them from breaking my tools. So, but really what it is that this helps to save money for the consumers, and it also helps the environment. So all those tools that my tools just sit in my shelf, but they could be used more regularly. They're built to do more work, but I don't do that much work with them. So, all right.
Product life cycle extension. What is this one about? Smartphone. I'm being really creative tonight, right? Guys, so how often did it happen to you that you got yourself an all new shiny smartphone that just come out, and then 18 months later it feels like that? right? You know, there's all new functions out there, a better camera, more storage, more whatever, better internet. So naturally what you do is just throw this one away or give it to your mom and get yourself a new model, right? What if you were able to replace those individual components, modules of your phone, get yourself a better camera, get yourself a better storage, whatever's out there, when an update becomes available. You save some money, you help the planet, and you are the smartest super hipster out there. Back at it. So, and it's not that difficult. In fact, technology exists. There are companies that allow you to do that. What we need is a mind shift of generations, a different way of thinking, not buying stuff, but just replacing stuff.
Of not needing new.
Yeah, and this is an example of a company who does exactly that with smartphones. It's called Fairphone. So guys, if you've ever seen a Fairphone, you know it's really bulky and it's not great and whatever. It doesn't matter. This is the future. This is a true circular economy approach.
So the next one is access over ownership. So using products as services. So tonight we're gonna have a few beers, have a nice chat with each other, maybe a few more beers, and then tomorrow morning you're gonna wake up and you find out, oh, my coffee machine is broken, and it's gonna be terrible. And then you have to spend the weekend looking for a new coffee machine and buying a new coffee machine, and it's something you don't want to buy. Oh. So what happens if you don't actually own that coffee machine? If it lives at your house and you pay for the service and the access to the coffee machine, but you don't actually own the machine. So if anything happens to it, the company would have to replace it for you. So if you never own the machine, then it's not a big deal. So this could be facilitated by the Internet of Things. So IoT and machine-to-machine communication could help the original equipment manufacturer who owns the machine. They can get all the data from the machine and find out, ooh, there's a part that's maybe a little bit problematic, so we need to send someone to service it and replace it before the whole machine is just broken. So, and because you never own it, the original manufacturer maintains the ownership of it, it's in their best interest to build machines that will last, to design machines that will last. They will have to take out the planned obsolescence. Like when they build things just enough so that it will break in 5 years, so you'll have to replace it, that's totally planned. So now they will have to remove that because it's their responsibility to maintain that product. So.
Right, Bree, now that we've talked all of these things through, is circular economy really a possibility? Is it real?
Yes, no, maybe. Okay, it can be if we all collectively, every single person on the planet, decide to embrace these new business models. And then also we can implement and apply these new technologies to these business models, then maybe. But right now, let's have a quick review at the way that it works now.
Right. So the way we have been going on thus far, we used to take things, we used to make things, we used to sell those things, and this is us consumers. So, you know, we bought something, we used it for a little while, then we got bored of it or it broke. What we're doing, we throw it away. So a better way to use it, or a choice that we have, is to repair it or put it on eBay or share it with someone else. Make something else out of it, or recycle it in a more sustainable way.
But that's so much work for us, right? Like, I have to make the choice to repair it. I have a crappy IKEA chair. You know, I could repair it because I can repair anything. But I could repair it, or I could just, maybe somebody else wants to take the time to repair it. So I just put it in the bin, right? It's too much effort for me. It's not worth my time to repair that, right? Or to refurbish it, or to reuse it. And so, but the problem is that it's all on me. It has nothing to do with the manufacturer. They have no responsibility with how it ends up. Once it's in our hand, it's our problem. But the thing is here, this is all money that just goes, it's literally just thrown in the trash when all that could be recovered. So here is where all the business opportunities lie. Here's where I think all the money can be made, if you can figure out a way to effectively collect all of those waste items.
No, actually, talking about the money. So if we do all that, if we take a step back and slow down and reuse and reduce and recycle and all that, are we actually going to make more money? Or are we going to sell less and therefore grow slower?
Okay, so there's a big question. How will we measure success? So we aren't buying as much. How do we measure success? Does success equal growth? Does growth equal sales? Open question. Okay, here's our references, and ta-da! Okay, thanks everyone. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to my team, to Annika Lohman, Emmy Schumacher, and Paula Schaudig for their hard work on helping to make this